innovation. And he hasn't done tremendously well in Pro League so far this year, and I think that's a big part of why SKT has underperformed and hasn't dominated Pro League the way they ought to be capable of, given the talent on their roster. But in any event, well, both of them are still decent teams. I think they're still both above even in terms of record, though I could be wrong about KTF. So we'll see 2 Corsairs out now, getting some good Overlord harassment out. They've taken about 3 Overlords down thus far. Meanwhile, a little bit of, well, Hydra Den going down, so we may see a switch into Hydras. Only 3 hatcheries, though, I think. So 3 hatch Hydras, maybe, probably not going to be enough to break Bisu. Could put down a couple more hatcheries. It's a bit late to go for a Spire now, so I don't think that's going to happen. And Bisu's positioned well now to claim that natural expansion, and he is putting down the Nexus. So Bisu is evening things up economically, and he did a good job, I think, of pumping forces out quickly enough to claim that natural base before Luxury really got his macro going. Bunch of Overlords clustered over those Hydras. And they should be relatively safe. Another cannon going down for Bisu, and a Citadel of Edge, so Bisu's going to transition into some sort of Templar tech. He may go for late DTs. I think with the lair having been up this long, it probably won't be very effective, so I'd imagine he's just going to go for High Templar at this point and not try to get back into a Bisu build. Sees the Spire going down, but that's probably just for Scourge at this point. It would be very late for a Muta switch, I think. A lot of Hydras are being pumped out, so Luxury may try to push up and put some pressure on this front door. Flash there with his mouth wide open. And on the other side, I think that's Fantasy. I'm pretty sure that's Fantasy anyway. And that would be a good match if that does end up happening later in the set. Very good PBT from both of those players overall. So that would be fun to see. Just now, Bisu Maynarding probes over to his natural. Oh, and if those Scourge are able, it looks like the Scourge might be able to pick off one of those Corsairs. Bisu's got to be very careful. He's got to keep that Corsair count up to be able to put pressure on with Mutas, or to put pressure on the Overlords, and to prevent a switch into Mutas. Additional gateways going down for Bisu, and he's stopped pumping Corsairs, so he's probably just going to get an army out and try to contest map control. Given this huge number of Lings and Hydras, what he really doesn't want is for Luxury to just be able to sit outside his base and prevent him from moving out, and then take over the entire map. And you can see he's putting a lot of cannons down in preparation for this Hydra push. That Corsair already took a Scourge hit. Looks like it's going to take another and go down. So Bisu down to just 1 Corsair as soon as he loses that. Now the Hydras and Lings are pressing in. I don't think there's going to be enough, though. I think they're going to have to fall back with that number of Zealots there. Quite a few Hydras, but still Bisu microing well, and he's going to be able to use those cannons to keep them off. Oh, it looks like that Corsair may actually escape, and a random white guy who somebody else may know, but I don't, is back there waving to the camera. And the Corsair does escape, so good job there by Bisu. Robotics facility's been out for a little while. That may just be for observers to prevent a switch into lurkers. But there has been a switch into Mutas now. So, yeah, this late switch into Mutas may be effective. And picking off one of the Corsairs, Bisu started pumping another Corsair. But this is the danger. Zergs can sort of slalom back and forth between 2 different tech routes so quickly. There is a DT coming out. So Bisu's going to, I guess, try to do some economic damage there. Overlord's all over the place, though, and he doesn't have enough Corsairs out to chase them away, so I don't think the DT is going to be particularly effective. Meanwhile, Mutalisk just raining down destruction on this main base, and Bisu's in quite a bit of trouble here, because his tech is all wrong. He has a single Corsair out and a single Dragoon, but he mainly has Zealots, and he doesn't have a whole lot of cannons in the back. He's losing pros just left and right. Bisu's in a ton of trouble. He's going to try to press down and get his own counteroffensive in, but I don't think he has enough Zealots to do a real lasting damage to Luxury. Meanwhile, Luxury is just taking down everything in Bisu's main. He's going to take down that cannon. The pros have all been forced to fall back. Now the Zealots are falling back. They realize they're not going to be able to do damage there. And Bisu looking very worried. I think Bisu is in huge trouble here. He got a Reaver out for base defense, but that's only useful against the Hydralisks. Oh, and Templar being picked off. One Templar going down just as it comes out of the gateway. Now Hydras are pressing up to the front. I think this is almost GG for Bisu. Bisu just being caught totally with his pants down by that very smart tech switch into Mutalisks. And now the Hydras are pressing in the front door. A lot of them are going to go down to the Reaver and cannons, but the Reaver goes down quickly. Luxury microing in very nicely. He's lost a lot of Hydralisks, but he is going to be able to do lots of damage to this front door, and more Hydras pouring in now. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks still uncontested and probes just running through. Bisu's just sacrificing these probes for no reason. And Bisu's going to have no economy to speak of. Another Templar going to be picked off, and that's just going to be another nail in the coffin for Bisu. Wow, so a very smart play by Luxury. I've seen this from him a few times, just coming out of nowhere with these smart timing attacks, tech switches. A very good strategic player, not necessarily with the same sort of top-level, all-around micro and macro as the very top S-class players, but certainly a very smart player, and Bisu does GG as this front goes down. Knew he wasn't going to be able to hold off those Hydras. So, good job by Luxury, and KTF is going to take set 1, and we will see Luxury playing someone else from SKT in set 2. So I'll see you there. Hope you enjoyed the game. This has been Hamilcar.